Welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the creative fairy godmother. And every single week we talk to creative business owners about their journey, how they got here, and they give you advice on their specific industry. So if you are a business owner and you're starting to think about hiring contract employees, building more complex situations in your business, thinking about HR and things like that, this episode is for you. We have the lively, the beautiful, the wonderful, the wonderfully wise woman, Danette Wilner, founder and CEO of Clear Headed. Yes, you do. This is me all day. Choir kid, orchestra kid, round of applause. Welcome to the show, Danette. I'm so
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Tell everybody what it is that you do in a nutshell, and then we'll go deep.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So, Amanda, you and I met by virtue of starting our businesses in the same era. And I immediately, upon meeting you and the impact that you had designed with your vision around revamp, said yes. Do you remember? Like we barely even knew each other's name. I'm like, oh, tell me more. Like I am
Yeah,
saying yes to that.
it was Oakland Thrive, right?
Yeah, it
Oakland
was,
Thrive by way of bamboo.
yeah, and then a little bit of Tajara in there, and then
Yes.
a little bit back more, definitely
Great.
back in Oakland Thrive with that vibe and the networking. So when we met, I was launching the business, guys, 3 years ago, that you and I met already. Can you believe that?
No. I can't. I was like, this
You look,
year. This year. No. It was like 2 years ago.
I know. Okay, fair enough. And I was launching Clear Headed LLC, with the idea of helping small businesses have proactive policies and procedures, primarily in HR, but I'm a labor and employment lawyer by trade, and had provide that kind of support and guidance and risk mitigation to these big publicly traded multinational corporations, and 25 years of a career of that, and realize the deeper value that is speaking to me is scaling that to be affordable and accessible for small business owners. So that's where Clear Headed came from, was this desire to lean into this courageous community and ecosystem of small business owners. Oftentimes, for an extended period of time, the business owner holds himself out as the HR director. And at some point, they deeply want to fire themselves as the HR director, but don't know how to scale into that for the scalability and growth of their business. So that's where Clear Headed comes in, like this trusted partner. It's like the lawyer and HR pro in your pocket, a team of really highly skilled 1099s, myself, and a commitment to help primarily first gen women and minority owned businesses, to start really leaning into that legacy building with strong practices that don't just see the profits fly out the window because, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't scale for that, or I didn't figure that. That's where Clear Headed's place came in. So
Mm.
and
There's
the
that.
name,
Yes.
a little bit of an oh moment. The name came from oftentimes in these crisis situations being the only clear-headed one in the room. So all chaos seems to be unraveling, but my reputation and brand for like forever in my career is like walking in and people being like, okay, we're going to figure this out together. Like whatever that meant. I was using lavender like to calm myself as well. So maybe that was giving off the vibes as I walked into a room.
I love it though.
Yeah.
We need clear-headed energy in chaos or in crisis. And however you get there, whether it's lavender, manifesting, journaling, speaking to your elders, ancestors, or just knowing policy, I feel all are valuable, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that was one of the bonding points that you and I had, is really identifying the why and the value and the purpose for like, what are we doing in this journey as entrepreneurs, as enterprise navigators and legacy setters? Like, why would we do this to ourselves? Because it's not exactly the easiest journey to volunteer for.
Exactly. And at the beginning, it feels like a volunteering. So I am curious, like, how was the last 2 years been going for you? Because I know there was a lot of things you were curious about, excited about, thinking about doing. How's it been? How has your journey been evolving and unfolding?
It's been evolving from, first that idea of, oh, there's room for me as a consultant.
Mhm.
And then finding space in that with that immediate network of people that have relied on my brand already having been established, to evolving beyond that, saying, okay, so now I've got the usual suspects trusting me and I'm in their fold and then, really appreciating their journey, starting to step into that community around small business owners and entrepreneurs, which was a complete learning curve. It is such a different culture
Then like
than,
corporate, big
yes.
business. Okay, got it.
Yep. Yep. Where you would find that consulting, you get everybody, right? You get these big businesses, you get small businesses, primarily people who have, bottom lined in October how they're going to invest in a consultant. No shade to that. This is great. This is how businesses get innovation from the outside in.
Mhm.
But really leaning in then, okay, if I'm defining the purpose of Clearheaded even more to show up for small businesses, what small businesses, for what purpose, and where? And that's where the next journey came. And I think that was about the time that you and I met, when I started looking for more intentional ways to connect with the Hispanic Chamber, the LGBTQ Chamber, the Arab American Chamber, the Asian Pacific Chamber, those niche opportunities, Oakland Thrive being one of them as well, where you see these ecosystems looking to get even more dynamic in Michigan. Plus the fact that Michigan is starting to be known for being that incubator space,
Oh,
which
yes.
which props to that, right? Like if we're going to really look to make headway in our economy in a sustainable way, that's not like ebbs and flows of whatever politics is going on.
Mhm.
This is where we make it. This is how it's done, is really on the innovation and drive of small businesses. So all of that led me to be like, yeah,
Yeah,
all in.
we need you. If we're going to be innovators and incubators and like literal like people creating the next version of Detroit or Michigan or whatever this ecosystem looks like, visionaries can only get so far.
Yeah.
We can only get so far until we have to fire ourselves as the HR person because we don't understand policy, we don't understand employment. And so I am curious, like, if there's someone listening that's like, I am thinking about hiring I need a virtual assistant. I need a virtual assistant like yesterday, last month, 3 years ago, but I finally have some income. What kind of things should I be thinking about before I even start looking to hire someone? And a lot of people are like, oh, just hire someone from the Philippines or just, and like, uh, as a Filipino person, I'm like, I love that employment for our fellow Filipinos, but I know they're getting grossly underpaid. That's a whole nother conversation. But as a business owner, I'm like, I'm underwater. I need help. What things should I be thinking about
Yeah.
before I start the search?
No, that's a brilliant question, because a lot of people just jump in to stop the pain,
Yeah.
right? Make it stop. Make this not happen anymore. Make it feel better. And yeah, that's Clearheaded's mission, is to really be the partner to make that less painful, like address the pain points. But it comes from like understanding, what do you want in 1 year and 2 years? What do you want that to look like from a scalability perspective? And then back into what you need right now. Not so you don't want this to be repeat. You don't want rework. You don't want redundancy. So know what your short term and then a little more of a long view is, as you're backing into that. Okay, I need an assistant, or now I've got 15 employees and there's like things I think I know about how I should pay them or policies or something like that. But I don't know where to start. And I think AI is a great place to start with that knowledge base, but a horrific place to stop, because that is not going to be your friend from a long-term scalability perspective. It's just rife with risk. So if a business owner is thinking, I'm going to make my first hire, whether that even be a 1099, a W-2, understand what purpose that individual will serve, how they fit into your organization. So if you had to like close your eyes and think about What would an org structure look like 2 years, 3 years down the road? Is it the same? Is it growing? What place would this person have? Is it temporary? Is it long-term? Are they going to be a foundational person? All of that goes into then designing what they do for you and what you pay them for, what you want from them specifically. Like that clarity up close, which is also why I got the email. Clarity is key at clearheadedllc.com. That clarity up front saves a lot of wasted resources very soon down the line. You're clear what you need from the person, what they're going to do for you now, how many hours you need of that, and then what that looks from a scalability perspective. Will it be full-time? Will it always be part-time? Do you always just want a 1099?
Sure.
Those questions are important to nail up because there will be members of your team that you're like, I can't live without them. This is actually a pivotal foundational role. Then get yourself a job description nailed up, right?
Yeah.
And understand how that scales into your future org structure. And then look at how you're going to look for that talent now. So is it a job posting? Is it going to be word of mouth? Am I going to a temporary agency? Whatever it is, you need to already have that job design in mind. So that's where clear-headed comes in to like get that thoughtful job design, that design around your org structure, who's going to be doing what, and then building those job descriptions so they are aligned and have something in common. They're not just, I'm going to cut and paste this from online and another one cut and paste. You're like, pretty soon you've got like this hodgepodge of design by accident instead of intentionally. So there's the compliance parts of it, like some stuff you can't put in a posting. You don't want to put in the posting, right? Like you want to be inclusive and equitable. And that starts from the onset of the language that you use. And it is the customer that I'm attracting as well, that client that wants to continually strive for innovation and inclusion and profitability. Like, believe it or not, that's all possible to have.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna play not the devil's advocate, but like I'm gonna play. I'm an underwater entrepreneur and I'm a solopreneur right now, right? I'm like, okay, thinking about my org is like blowing my mind. Like I'll think about that later. I need to solve this problem now. My emails are overflowing. My admin work is overflowing. I'm doing everything. At what should I be thinking about first? Like I know everybody's a little bit different, but you've been around the solopreneur, entrepreneur ecosystem for a little while, and you're seeing these people probably get overloaded and they come to you too late. Like, what should I be thinking about first? Other than like, okay, I'm thinking 5 years down the line. I can't even see 5 minutes ahead of me. So like, where should I be putting my thought? And then also like the fear of you costing too much. Like, how can I even possibly afford Danette if I can't even like get out of my inbox?
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, like the role of clear-headed usually comes when you've got 15 or more employees. Beautiful. And you're looking to scale up to 25 to 50 within a year, 75 to 100, where you've got people who will likely be a W-2, where you're dealing then with compliance issues for labor and employment regulations and HR policy handbooks and all of that. Getting that early on as an entrepreneur, though, is understanding right now how to become really intelligent around how technology is that extension of yourself. So are you getting the right platforms? Are you getting the right organizational systems? Are you now centralizing the model that you want around time management, project management, as well as your inbox management? And if so, what role does technology play into that? So that when you do hire a human to start taking that on, those systems are accessible, they're understandable, and your business plan is already developed and easily understood. No matter who you're bringing into the fold, if they don't understand the why behind why you started your business, the what you're doing and what you're working for, then you're going to find a lot of disconnection and possibly some drama. I'll say, like if somebody is not aligned with what you see for your enterprise, and they come in thinking they want to passion project themselves into your work, it's super difficult to backpedal from that. And the rework. Oh, I just have this like
tell us a story. Please tell us
rework.
Yes.
I have a lot more tolerance for it in larger organizations, the rework, because like you have to make space and grace for people doing
Sure.
things in their time. But as a solo, you're right, as a solo business owner, I'm like, the rework puts me back.
A
Like,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a time and money connection that's much, much tighter than you like. If I can just take my time and get that business plan solidified, understand like even what I want to see from myself in the near future, then that will do me well in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I actually interesting that you would mention an assistant. So I at the beginning of Clear Headed, like soon after the first year, I had my business plan made up, but I was feeling exactly how you just said. Like my inbox, it's here, it's there. Is it connected to my calendar correctly? Can
Yeah.
people seamlessly schedule things? Am I cognizant of what I need to do by way of preparation and pre-work before that engagement or that consultation or the event? Um, and I hired a personal assistant,
Mm.
and it was not the right time. It was
Oh,
not the right time in the organization because I hadn't worked out so much of that future vision. So I was frustrated by why aren't they getting what I need? I need this content or this moved into this. I need a presentation. And it was the wrong time because I hadn't articulated the exact business model that they would support and lend their talent to. Because I was developing it still myself. So it's hard to describe this as your fit if I myself can't like describe to you the architecture of what you're fitting into. So I backed off from that, took some time to slow down and understand the systems and why I had them and were they going to be long term investments, and then how they would scale up with me, and then look to hire someone more holistically that could serve more than just assistant, but start looking into marketing, to social media, promotion like that. That seemed to fit together easier, and it made it so much easier for me to share the
yeah.
business model and business plan and finding the person to do that on a consistent basis rather than an admin, by the way, which has high turnover or they're handling so many more clients at the same time that they're really not in your business model. They're administratively, but not conceptually and philosophically to the broader model that you're trying to build. If anyone is listening to this and they're like, no, I'm that admin that is that, they
Yeah.
should call us both.
Yes.
They should
Yes.
call us
Please.
both.
Well, and it's very reassuring that you also like knowing everything that you know, Danette, and then hearing that you also ran into a similar issue. Like I hear so many entrepreneurs that are like, I'm gonna hire my first assistant, and and they don't think about managing that assistant. What jobs are you prepared to give to them? What does that process of onboarding and offloading the work look like?
Yep.
And then they're like, bitching about like all this extra work that they have to do because now they have somebody to manage and they didn't think it through. And then next thing they know, they have this financial investment, this time investment, this human relationship investment. And they're like, oh shit, that's not what I meant to do so soon. I didn't mean to make more work for myself. So I am curious about the technology piece. Like, as someone who our goal is to eventually, get to 15 people and then hire you and hire the clear-headed team. If you were to start at zero and you would want somebody to lead two clear-headed or somebody of the like in their ecosystems, what technology would you suggest us using?
So first and foremost, start with your preferred AI platform. Put your business plan in there and start asking it about projections, given your niche and where you are and what kind of growth you could expect within the next 2 years, 5 years. Stop there because anything more is going to drive you crazy. But that's enough to get the conversation started. And when you're talking about structure and scalability and competition, we've had our old, when you're building the business plan and you're benchmarking against your competition, if that's in your business plan, your AI partner, whoever that might be, for me, it's Gemini today. So uploading that to have a more intuitive conversation about what it is you're about and where you want to go will be easier for that scalability. So for me, it was really knowing about the business model expansion with the help of AI. But I already had my website designer, the systems that they use from a CRM perspective, what they were using from a management of calendar, what they were using for integrated outreach for both prospective and current clients, the follow-up that you need for invoicing, where you're calendaring that, who's going to be responsible for it, what your vendor list looks like. Are you putting it into a tax management system? Do you have a tax pro? So all of that, right? As you start to build it out, you realize, oh, I have my thing. I have my nucleus and that cycle of I call it like the client life cycle, from the getting to the nurturing all the way through. Who are you going to need to do that after you bring them in, to onboarding, identifying the needs, the touch points, the reminders, who else on your team will be responsible at whatever part of that client life cycle, from attracting them all the way to nurturing them to the successful output that you need. So getting the systems that support that, from a tech perspective, for sure, from your email, is your platform going to be Google Docs? Okay, fine, but stick with that and make it consistent and know ahead of time, like, you're going to save yourself a lot of time when you stick with the platform and all of the links to it to share information in real time with the people that you're going to rely on to help those clients. So I would also say that a major help in that was Oakland Thrive.
Okay.
Let's be real. I'm a preferred provider through Oakland Thrive for HR and employment compliance solutions for small businesses. But guess what? Every part of that client lifecycle that I just mentioned to you, they have experts in those spaces to help you start to articulate the tech, start to articulate the taxes, start to articulate the business plan and the marketing plan and the website, like, to start the conversation so that you can at least land on that platform that you soon will take to the next level. But really, it's that continual conversation, either with live humans or AI, to start saying, what's next? How do I scale this? How do I make this work? What am I forgetting? What am I needing to consider from that subject matter expertise? And that was my view. And Oakland Thrive helped a lot with filling the gaps, because I was getting frustrated. Who am I going to find that? Who am I going to find to comment on that? That was answered for me.
And if you're not familiar with Oakland Thrive, or you're not based in Michigan or Detroit, Oakland Thrive is, and not even Detroit, Metro Detroit, Oakland County. Oakland Thrive is a nonprofit organization that provides free business resources to small businesses based in Oakland County. So I'm very, very sure there are other organizations in your town, in your city, in your county that can help with that, even if you're not based in Oakland County, Metro Detroit, Michigan, all of that beautiful stuff. But basically, like, Danette is now a provider. So if I'm at that like mark where I have questions, I can go to Oakland Thrive and say, hey, I have HR questions, or I have compliance questions. Who should I talk to? And I get a free hour with Danette, because Oakland Thrive and their programs pay for her so that I could get it for free, which is amazing. And I love them for it. And I'm trying to get
they went up. I think they went up to like 3 or 4 hours as part of it. Like, once you're enrolled. And so these business incubators, they exist throughout the country, where they're really looking, especially if you follow the state tax dollars, to see how they're investing in, small business and entrepreneurial startups within their economy. You can go to whatever, Department of Labor within the state to start seeing where they have some of these small business incubators and sign up for it. But in essence, it's the same. You're building community and a network of people who have been there and done that. And if they haven't, then you're at least in good company figuring it out together. And then knowing where to go. So you're not reworking, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're saving yourself a lot of pain and angst. And that's what I find, like, get tight with your community is super important to longevity, because small businesses get isolated, they get overwhelmed. They forget that it's one step at a time towards progress. And having you in my network, having others in my network, nurturing those relationships has been a lot to Clearheaded's continued success and progress, because it would be such a lonely and confusing journey without you and others. So
That is so real. And I've heard that so much working at Bamboo, but I didn't really understand until I went virtual part-time. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I love this because I'm a people person. I get energy from people. My whole business is around community building and my job is community building. But I never realized how isolating it is because you get heads down in the work and you look up and it's been 3 days and you haven't showered and you're like, you probably should talk to a human, like, instead of AI or your Gmail or your laptop or whatever, or had like a real in-person face-to-face meeting instead of just virtual calls, which feel lively. Like I try my best personally as a business owner to have that relationship focused conversation, but then like you turn the Zoom off or you turn the Google Meet off and then it's just like silent and you're like, okay. There's nobody asking, there's nobody asking me like, how was your weekend? How's it going? Even if they are asking virtually, like there's something so special about just like getting out there and hugging people and chatting it up with people about anything, business or otherwise. So,
what I think is behind that? As you're talking out loud, I'm starting to think about how like the neurobehavioral aspects of that connection are so important to innovation, to feeling excited about something, to feeling authentic about something. That personal interaction for many of us, again, from a neurobehavioral perspective, everyone's got their different jam, right? I feel more invigorated by this than that, but I'm with you on the interaction. I find that connection personally helps me express myself in the best way possible. And it also helps me continue the connection. I want to feel heard. I want to feel valued. I want to feel purposeful. I want to feel like I belong. A lot of that for me is in person.
Yeah. It's hard to replicate that. We learned that obviously in the dark times. We learned that, but I think for some of our like maybe socially anxious friends, my suggestion usually is to just like keep consistent with showing up for yourself in person because I'm an overthinker. So I'll go to an event and I'll overthink every conversation that I had with everybody. And I'm like, oh, why did I say it like that? Like, why did I, and usually the remedy to that is just to go to another event so I can start fixating on new things. But, or participating in crafts. That's a big thing for me is like artistry, crafts, things that are outside of my business and have like something tangible that I can do with my hands. Cause if I'm working on my business 24/7, I get like zonked out. I get weird. I overthink. I want to quit. I want to, I'm like, you need something else outside of just your business as business owners to keep you going. Because if you're business all the time, like you'll get overwhelmed. You can't do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's one of the reasons why you're in the creative space.
Yes.
Because it's a melding of all of that, right? It is of the entrepreneurial spirit. It is of creative. It is of community building, which that's rich stuff. That's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Yeah.
We're constantly out here. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you express yourself creatively since you're so like, you're in policy, you're legal, like it's very much like in the weeds, not in the weeds, but you're looking at fine details. Like, how do you unwind?
You mean outside of my business? Because I was going to do both. I wanted to explain how my business is part of that pleasure of connecting with people. When I was an undergrad, I don't know if you know this about me, but my undergrad degree is in cultural anthropology.
I am not surprised, actually. I am not surprised by that.
Like
y'all know, Danette has come to the revamp. She comes and kicks it with us. She's come to our art shows. She's purchased art from our friends. Like, Danette is a cultured woman. So, like, she's smart and cultured. Like, full catch.
Thank you for that. I am so genuinely interested in the backstory of how people are what they are, how they got to where they are, what what makes them jazzed, what makes them be a better version of themselves, like from always. It's always been part of who I am. And even academically pursuing that, when I got out of law school, I started clerking at the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, because that journey for someone, when their most basic need of feeling treated fairly and lawfully to earn money, like that became very like an impactful way to personally understand a person's backstory. What does this look like? How can I make this easier for you? I'm genuinely curious about it. So that creativity comes out also when you're speaking to me, and I'm like, oh, let me guess what the backstory is. And I share with you, did it feel like that? Did it look like that? Are you about, and people are like, yeah. I'm not a crystal ball reader. It's just that I've always been so curious about the human experience and how culture shapes that, and how our fundamental rights shape that, and when we're provided access and a freedom to live how we want to, versus how, when that's held back from us, the frustration and how much that scales back people. That has all become incredibly relevant in being a small business owner.
Yeah.
And especially when you go in for those environments where you're surrounded by other people who might not realize how much they have in common. When they start talking about their journey, it may look different, but the way that you feel and the way that you have persevered and become resilient, that's a constant. I admire that deeply. So part of my creative extension is hearing people's backstory, like where you come from, what you do, how'd you get here, how'd you create that art, tell me more about what led you to, poetry jam, tell me more about what led you to start up your own coffee shop. I want to know more, because I've also put myself in places where the people that are showing up have common values about from a humanistic perspective, seeing everybody as worthy, and everyone having an opportunity to live with joy and purpose. Like, I gravitate to those spaces, and your revamp is that consistently. You have people that understand that connection to other, that understand their connection to community, that know what it means to walk gently and with purpose. Like,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
So as a young one, were you like just asking questions, or were you flipping through books? Like, what was your way of finding your way here to anthropology? Like, if I could, reverse your question back to you, like, how did you get here?
So,
are you a child? Are you are you baby of a family?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, like, where do you fall in birth order in your family?
I'm second of four, but I'm first daughter. So I have a brother, and then myself, and then a younger brother and a younger sister.
Oh, okay. So I am baby of 4.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
By 7 years, 10 years, and 12 years.
Wow. Okay.
So like a baby, like the other siblings were like, oh, that's the baby. Like,
Yeah.
So I wonder if any of my siblings are going to watch this. Anyway, so what I think
talk on as a big sister, you're allowed. I'm telling you.
What I learned from them was quietly watching and observing on what worked and what didn't work. So my inquisitive mind began with, I would have tried that, but I saw how that turned out, so I'm going to try this instead.
Yeah, I'm going to do the opposite. Yep, I feel that.
Yeah. And then having that 7-year gap, I really didn't grow up with a playmate, right? So a lot of it was at reading and in my own space, being in libraries, being in creative play, being in art, and that storytelling from early on, the capacity to like even weave a new story and tell it to someone. I think it came from really a love of reading. English was not my first language. And when Spanish is my first language. So my when I moved to the States, not speaking English, I started in elementary school and showed up to a classroom that did not have English as a second language, because remember, we're dating back to like 1900s where I'm going to elementary school, and you're talking, do they have ESL programs? No, there are no ESL programs. So I was curious enough to want to lean in and learn, but the teachers are like, well, go home until you learn English and then come back. My mom was so mad. I remember this. She's like, why'd you tell them you couldn't speak English? I'm like, because I can't speak English. I'm telling her this in Spanish. So I stayed home for a little bit while we figured it out. And the way I figured it out was
like, that's crazy that they were like, you go home and learn it from an education, like a school's like, go home, learn it by yourself, and then come back, and then we'll learn you something else. Like, what?
Two things happened. I went to the library because my mom needed me to be somewhere productive. So
Sure.
that's that. The librarians were the ones to be like, here you go. Here's the information that we'll sit by your side and read the stories. And I learned to watch daytime television to learn English.
Yep. That's what my mom said. My mom said she would watch cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, and that's how she learned how to speak English.
I mean, mine happened to be the Twilight Zone, Gomer Pyle, and I Dream of Jeannie, but same diff, right? It's like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, they're not Saturday morning cartoons. They're just live action, you know?
Yeah.
That's
So
like crazy.
it was I went back and was quiet.
Yeah.
But it was such an advantageous point in my life because everyone's learning in rapid fire. And because I had already started on the journey of being curious and being a curious learner, I soon was, embraced by teachers who were like, you're really great at academically. And that boosted me significantly. Like, when you're successful, it begets more success and begets more success. So I was still having a humdinger of a time fitting in a bicultural perspective,
Sure.
the ethnic lunches and the fact that you're not bringing anyone home because it's a completely different scene and language. Not knowing, I mean, your concept of belonging in elementary school is nothing like it is now as a grown-ass woman. Like there's
Right.
a whole separate journey in that. So now I'd be like opening up my tamales during lunch and being like, I don't care if it smells. I'm going to eat it. You're going to be jealous, right? But
enjoy your McDonald's. It's fine. I will be over here eating something delicious. Yes.
Yeah. Like, the fact that I was learning, like, why would they cut the crust off their bread? I don't understand that as a thing. Like, if there's so many cultural nuances of observing were taking place at that time. So that community building soon on, relying on librarians, relying on the teachers that saw me beyond, what a stereotype might have carried into the classroom. Deeply grateful. And I was deeply formed by that as well, for sure.
Oh, I can't even the fact that the school turned you away and the librarians embraced you is just like, it's giving Matilda. It's giving we'll find our superpower. Oh, we did. It's like helping people with policy and build their businesses and have really good teams. So I'm curious what college life was like for you. And then another follow-up question to that is as a biracial, multicultural person, how do you navigate the business world? What does that feel like? So many questions. Answer which one resonates with you the most.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we all know, by the time you get older, you're really becoming more confident in finding your people, the people that gel with you, on a spirit level, on a social level, on a socio-political level. Economically, I had, a significant stretch of my life after my father left dealing with housing insecurity. So that socioeconomic reality was newer to me than my upbringing. So it was in junior high when my dad left that we went from having to then not having, really in rapid fire at a really vulnerable, junior high. Come on.
Yeah, that's the time.
Yeah, it is the time. So I've been, identifying myself through work and working since an early age. 12 doing the babysitting thing, 15 getting my first W-2, and I haven't stopped working since then. The only time that I've taken off was FMLA to have my child. That's the extended period of time that I can recall having taken off. And then there was a whole COVID thing. We're not going to talk about that because
Yeah.
that's the C word. So like whatever. But anyway, other than that, that identifying myself as fiercely independent, able to forge my way, not ever really seeing obstacles, just kind of seeing like, oh, it's an opportunity to pivot and pivot and pivot. Going to college with the same mentality and finding people who appreciated that became easier. Oddly enough, right? Bigger campus. So I'm an alumni of the University of Arizona, and it's a very large campus, a very,
Yeah.
very large campus. So finding my way there to people that I had things in common with, plus the fact that I was paying my own way to be able to say, I want to major in cultural anthropology. Like, I wish someone had been like, well, my mom did try. My mom did try. She grabbed the newspaper dramatically and she's like, I don't see a job here for a cultural anthropologist. So I was like,
I love that. Yeah, my mom was just like, media com, and she's the Filipino one. So like, she's just like, you're never going to make any money. You're never going to make any money. That was her, and then I started making money and she's like, okay, well, where's my Chanel purse? Because that's how I'll know. I'm like, Ma, anyway, same.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I found a job after undergrad working in nonprofit as a community development director for housing projects in South Tucson.
Okay.
So a lot of HUD grants were going to renovate public housing that had come into development in the 50s and 60s and now needed to have some revamping, revitalization. And as a community development director, I was doing this translation literally and figuratively of both socioeconomic, culture, and language between what the community wanted and needed and what HUD was required to provide by virtue of their Hope 6 grant funds. So found a chance to actually be curious about other cultures in real time. So I felt a little bit like, this is awesome. Maybe it wasn't all for naught, right? Like I understood that. But it was in that experience that I was like, maybe my voice has an opportunity to be broader. And law school had always been in my mind ish. Not that I had anyone to like mirror off of though. So that's why it was kind of, maybe that would be interesting, but there are no lawyers in the family, there's no doctorates in the family there. So like, what am I doing here? But I went to a summer bridge program and through that realized, okay, like family law would be amazing to go into, like a voice for people who traditionally don't have a voice or the strength to share it. So with my nobleness, they distributed my application across the country. And I got into law school and some financial offers from two schools, one here in Michigan and one in Iowa. And then I thought, oh, none of these are in Arizona. I'm going for it. I don't know a single soul in either of those places, but I'm going for it. So I said yes to the offer here and loaded up my little red Nissan pickup truck, which I had bought. And my mutt was my shotgun partner through the entire road trip. I put my belongings that fit in the back of the truck and wrapped it with a blue tarp and drove out sight unseen, still using MapQuest because that was back in those days.
Oh, blast from the past.
I drove into like, I knew a friend of a friend who had a basement in Troy.
Okay. You came right here. Where did you go?
To Troy. Or you mean for school? U of D Mercy. So U of D Mercy downtown.
Hey.
So I got lost driving into town trying to find U of D's campus. And I didn't know where downtown was per se. And I found myself looking for the U of D campus that's not downtown, that's in like Detroit. And I went left when I should have gone right and found myself in what I know now to be Dearborn.
Oh.
And I remember this very clearly because I was like, oh, now I got to find a place to live. And I drove by and I'm like, oh, that looks so cute in there. I wonder if I could get a place. It was Greenfield Village that I saw.
It's a museum for those of you that don't know.
Love
to live there. Same.
It's a historical museum that Henry Ford established by bringing these architectural relics from around the planet into
Mhm.
one space. And so that I would look in and be like, that's lovely. I'm going to live
I
in.
would love to live there. That is my house on the penthouse suite. Yes, I say that every time I go to the DIA. I'm like, this would be a great living room, actually.
My living room to put. So that experience, coming here not knowing anyone, um, I'm gonna say like there's a lot of Latinos that might be hearing this who know of the fatalistic reality that your family is like burdened with, so that everyone was certain that I would meet with failure, doom. Not everyone. I had a sister that believed in me. But my mom for sure was writing the "I'll be sad when you don't make it alive" like kind of letter going out to me. Uh, that making it and being here all this time later, and calling Michigan home feels like a well fought for victory.
Yeah, absolutely. At what point did your mom believe that you were like, you did it? I'm
When I
just
passed the bar.
okay. Yep. What gift did she require after you passed the bar?
Just the capacity to be like, I have a daughter that's a lawyer.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. She could just walk around. That is like the gift that keeps on giving.
I
Oh,
have a daughter that's a lawyer. I'm like, I love you, mom. It's like in my head, like you were the one that was like doomed.
Peter, I think, and this is so real for me because I feel the same way. And my mom's always like, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand. I don't understand. And I just think it's her, like, she's coming from her sphere of knowing, and her life experience is not that she could just like up and quit a good paying job and pursue a business, right? Like that was not something in her life experience, at least for my mom. And I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, you gave me the life that is privileged enough to be able to go out there and like do something risky because you didn't want to take the risk and you couldn't because you had four young babies and you're the first person in your family in this country and you're building your foundations. You gave me the privilege, the gift, the opportunity to go on and build something new for our lineage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she can't, she hears that and she's like, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. And I try to explain it to her, but it's not for her to understand. But I try to tell her, like, I'm so grateful for you for the sacrifices that you made. And now I'm taking a risk because that is what you set me up for. That is what you built this for me. Now I need to go use it and do it. And she's like, okay, well, just let me know when you start making money.
But that bravery and tenacity to be that first gen, I think we're first gen, right? That our parents are zero gen, so we're first gen. But that zero gen, I mean, my mom telling me stories of literally raising a family where she didn't know the language and didn't have the neighbors as an extended family and didn't know the system, the education system. Like, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
That's
Super.
a hardcore belief in yourself and in your resilience.
And in
To
the
make.
dream, the American dream, whatever,
Oof.
that is. But like I try to explain to her and she doesn't press as much anymore. She used to a lot more when I lived with her. She's like, you're married now, you're fine. Go be, go be. But I'm like trying to explain that like this is the new vision, the new dream is to create something innovative that changes the way and the landscape in which we work and live our lives. And I try to get her to come to the swaps so she can understand what I'm doing. And when she finally does come, because she comes like maybe once a year, she's always like, this is my daughter. This is my daughter. Look at my daughter. You know what I mean? She's like, take a picture,
Oh, I love it.
take a picture with that, with everybody. And she's like, I'm her mom, but then when she's not there, she's like, I don't understand. I don't,
You're
but
like, you felt it. You felt it. Every bit of what you and I just connected with is true about the purpose of what we lend to entrepreneurs and small businesses. that story that we have about purpose and legacy and connection and resilience, carbon copy right over to that small business entrepreneurial community, that when we have our success, it's our success. When you develop that community of others within this ecosystem, it's not competition, it's boosting each other for you. It is the right thing for you and for others, because it begets that connection, that resilience. You're not isolated, you're not alone. In fact, I'm happily showing up to, when I have something that I've overcome, to make sure that other business owners in that ecosystem don't do the same thing. Like, let me boost you, elevate you, put you in the spaces. Like, my network is your network.
Mm-hmm.
We grow, we elevate together. Like, that's for real in the communities now, small business communities that I've intentionally had clear-headed start showing up and connecting and giving, and showing up and connecting and giving. So that, you see how we got here? It's because we understand and are grateful and connect to mentoring and being mentored, to building each other up. This is not an isolated journey. Like, our parents, they gave us that. They showed us, you're going to make this. And it was sloppy. It was probably unintentional, but I'm picking up what you're throwing down in the lesson learned from that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think I hear a lot of people on TikTok, specifically in the like millennial age range, where they're talking about this like missing village, right? They're talking about how like they never experienced what a village is or whatever. So there's like this dialogue going around. And I think as first generation Americans, like our parents uprooted themselves from their village specifically because they could see the writing on the wall, or the writing was there, or their parents and families were like, just go, right? Like, get out of here, or I need to leave. And they had to live in this like uprooted experience of the world so that we could then reroute.
Yeah.
Like, our job is to reroute. Our parents' job was to uproot. And I think my job, that's at least what I'm feeling, is like my ancestral work is to reroute and build like trees that bear fruit, because my parents had to be the seed that flew,
Yeah.
So we get to be, I don't know what the words for that are, but they had that hard job of floating away from the tree family, and
yeah. So I have two things. I just launched my kiddo to college this year. So when you're talking about rooted in fruit and that legacy, I, as a working mom, I have a commitment to this upcoming year. Here's the 2026 things that I must do for myself. One of them is to be very intentional where I give my time as a mentor, because I have this idea, this thing. Caretakers that work deserve to be seen and supported and helped. And I'll find that platform to do that. Whether it's navigating, I'm thinking of starting a family and I have to work full time. Like, been there, done that. Allow me, gather around, children, because there are things that we should break down. It will help you make decisions for yourself. Not my decisions, but decisions for yourself, knowing that these are the realities of functioning in a country where you have limited FMLA and you're not paid paternal leave or maternity leave. And there's this thing called health insurance. And if you have a high risk pregnancy, then okay, so there's that reality. And then the whole caretaker of elderly has its own new caretakers. That's what I'll say. Like, 2026 will be calling me to show up more for caretakers who are balancing, like, how am I showing up in my business or in my career? For launching my kiddo to college, he's living his best life. And that means that I feel like I'm living my best life. Yeah. To have that wisdom where he understands the opportunity that's been given to him. He was a National Merit Scholar, so he was provided a full ride which is a big deal changer. When you talk about the fruit of the tree, I mean, you knew I was working since 12 and on, and to now see that this next generation, my son, is being paid for his intellectual contributions. You stop right there. Like, stick a fork in me. I'm done with that, right? Like, that's just fantastic.
You've made such an amazing human. Like, I've met your son, and he's just so open and curious and well-rounded and just cool fly energy, but in a way that feels authentic and real and grounded in reality. And I've met a lot of young people working at building the revamp basically, and I get the pleasure of working with a multitude of generations, and he just came in confident, cool, curious, asking questions, looking at me in my eyeballs, and I'm like, whoa, who's this kid? Who is this? And I think that was 2 years ago that I met him. So he was in high school, right? And what a testament of your diligence to raise such a well-rounded human in the world.
I'm proud of myself as a mother. I'm super, super impressed with him and the journey he's created for himself. So all of that goes to him.
Yes.
My journey as a mom, though, has shaped me in becoming a business owner and shaped me in what's next in my journey here to contribute and build community and live out, be valued and be valuable. Like, I say that on the daily. If I'm putting forward an intention, it's around, for today, am I living with purpose and showing up in spaces where I'm valued and valuable? That's it. That's the daily intention for me to show up in that space. This next year also holds a desire to learn to sail. I'd love to learn to sail. That's going to be my thing, right? I'm going to learn how to sail. I'm going to take advantage even more of these Great Lakes of ours. Love it, love it, love it.
Mm-hmm.
I've become a lot more purposeful in the organizations that I'm investing in, that they are aligned with purpose and value. The benefit of waking up every day and saying like that is that you're looking for those spaces that understand it. And so my investment in community and time and spirit really has become a lot more focused and intentional, which I'm going to continue in 2026. And from a clear-headed perspective, that all fits in.
Yeah.
I have this concept that needs to go into the world of tech. And I have started on the journey of finding someone that can help build an AI empowered app for Clearheaded, the Clearheaded management app.
Yep.
Very specifically to be integrated into the solutions that Clearheaded offers around frontline supervisors. I've had this for years. You and I talked about this. I've been talking about this for years. It has to happen this next year. It absolutely has to happen. The frontline supervisors of most small businesses are the most overlooked in terms of skill building and investment, but the highest carriers of risk to a company. They are where the rubber meets the road. You can create a business model, but if you have a frontline supervisor that's missing the boat on how to treat people and what your policies are about and how to show up as an empathetic listener and leader, pay the settlements, because that's the root of it. That's the root of labor and employment settlements, that you don't have those people on the front line or your managers or supervisors knowing how to people.
Yeah.
So that's the app that I am, as everyone is my witness, that will be created in 2026 as an integrated app and AI assisted tool with Clearheaded management, because it needs to happen.
It does. If you need help finding people to help you build that, I think I might have a couple in my mind. I'll do some email intros, or I'll share their platforms with you first so you can do a little research.
I love it.
Yeah, I got it. We need it to exist. We need it to exist because of all of the things that it would be great for me as a business owner, and I'm just making a suggestion. As a business owner, I'm not ready to hire you yet. But if you, Danette, are saying, use AI to get to this path, how great would it be to work with an AI platform that's built from the HR perspective, that I can be like, hey, I'm going to use clear-headed AI to build my business systems, practices, and then it'll lead me to humans when I'm ready. Because like you said, it starts with AI, but it doesn't end there.
No, it doesn't. No. So the intellectual property that I bring is having that curiosity to have handled cases in litigation.
Mhm.
And I rewind that and say, like, what could have been done differently to have avoided all this? Case after case after case after case. That curiosity lived on in me even when I was doing the defense work. Like, what could have been done differently? And that's what this app is intended to do. That palm of your hand, like, you got a tough one coming up, but here's how you can do this, this, and this to set yourself up for success and lower the risk of the next step beyond that. So it's coming clear to me, and 2026 will be the year that I see that launch. I'm saying it here. I'm pointing to the outfield right here on this show. This is the next thing for me.
You got to say it out loud and you got to put it out there. Otherwise, if it stays in here, it might float to somebody else. So I'm going to make sure to make some connections for you after the show. I think a couple people come to mind.
Love you for that. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you so much. We're at the hour, so I want to ask you 2 more questions. The first of the last 2 questions are, where can we find you on the internet? How can we get a hold of you if we're ready to hire you or just want to stay watching your journey as you build this new platform?
Yeah, I think I've had the most fun following and being followed on Instagram. So Clearheaded LLC on Instagram, clearheadedllc.com tells more about the solutions that Clearheaded offers. And even a way to schedule time immediately just to chat. Like, curious about the model, curious about how we show up in the same ecosystems of small businesses. I'm here for it all. And really excited to clarity is key at clearheadedllc.com is my email. That's a good way to get a hold of me. 313-407-7402. Just text me. Like,
yes.
Yeah, this is not supposed to be this community building, these solutions, this empowerment. It should not be hard to access. So there's no gatekeeping here. There's no information withholding. This is how we get things done. Multiple ways to connect.
Sister, and I say this on the show all of the time, but you put it in such a good way. It starts by you learning about Danette through the Let's Glow show, and it does not end there. Send her a text. She is a person that exists in the world that is not only wanting to help you, but like doing it with passion and excitement and curiosity is like, oh, so real. She is even more amazing in person. Like, text her. Please do that. Blow up her phone, blow up her inbox in the most respectful kind way. Respectfully, right? And then my last question for you can be about anything, or you can cover all the topics that we covered, but what's your last piece of advice for our listener today?
Surround yourself with a community of people that believe in you because you're worth believing in. Understand that we're better for having you here. And when you doubt that, reach out.
You're going to make me cry.
Oh, girl, we need this more than ever. We need this idea of connection and hope and purpose more than ever. There's too many things that we could let hold us back right now. And it's important to show up for each other. And I mean that authentically. Like, just know that you are important and purposeful. And when you doubt that, reach out.
I double down on that. Double down on that.
100%.
There's much more good in the world than is shown to us.
Yes.
Especially when you go outside and just tap in. You just go outside and tap into the people around you. So, like, please. I second that advice. I second the feeling. I'm so grateful for you, Danette. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Mm-hmm.
Just like such a warm, nurturing, loving person in my life. Like, from the second I met you, it was just, you're like, tell me about yourself, and I'm like, me?
Yes.
Oh, and you're just, I don't know, I'm so grateful for you, and I am excited to see how your business continues to unfold and hear about your son's journey and your journey. I think to your point, the caretakers need care. Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
such a
Yes.
huge thing. And I'm seeing firsthand, like my grandmother lives with my parents now. And as an adult child of a family that I want to stay involved with, like I'm seeing their ages change and just like, how can we support the people we're supporting and also take care of ourselves? And so all of the things we could go on and on and on forever. And so I will be texting you. How about
Yes. And I'm going to give you a pinky promise, and I want one from you right now that we're going to kick ass in 2026. Okay.
Oh, heck yes, we are. Pinky
There for each other. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh, I so appreciate you. And to our listeners, I appreciate you as well. Thank you for being here. Share your thoughts, feelings, what your pinky promise is in the comments. If you know anybody that can help Danette build her AI platform, drop it down below. And if there's anything that you need help with in your business that Danette can help with or I can help you with, please let us know. We are so grateful for you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week on the Let's Glow Show. Thanks. See you later.